Hello everyone, welcome to another community demo. And if you have any questions during the demo, then you can discuss that on live chat of YouTube, or you can ping us on Libra chat on the Foreman channel. So, starting with the release announcements, we just had the RC2 release of Foreman 3.4, and we are expecting the GA release of 3.4 on 8th of this month. So that's the plan. And yeah, so as of now, everything is looking good in terms of Foreman 3.4 and Catella 4.6. So I'm hoping that release will be on time and we won't delay anything. So I think that's it from the release announcement, and then I'm moving to the demos. Just a minute. Okay, so the first one is Nofar, and she's going to talk about adding the link to host group counts for the Ansible role. And over to you, Nofar.
Hello everyone, so I want to share with you today a small fix that was added to the Ansible roles page. Here under the host groups column, we added this clickable link to the host groups count. So before that, the host groups count was displayed as a regular text without a link. And this newly added link leads to the list of host groups with a particular role. So let me demonstrate by clicking it. And as you can see, we were navigated to the host groups page with the search query for our particular role. And this new fix also added the option to search for a host group with a specific role. So this search query didn't exist before, but now you can also use it directly from this page to filter host groups by their Ansible roles. So for example, you can search the second role here and enter, and I can see these two host groups having this Ansible role. That's it. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thanks a lot, Nofar. I'm just checking YouTube, and I'm checking the IRC to see if we have any questions. I'm just waiting for a minute. Okay, I don't see any questions. So even after the demo, if you have any questions, then you can reach out to us on Discourse or on our IRC channel. So feel free to ping us. So with that, we are moving to next one, and that is from Samir. He's going to talk about adding audits to the capsule syncs. And over to you, Samir.
Thanks, Amit. All right, let me share the screen. So I have a small update on capsule sync. So what we have done is we have added audits for syncing capsules. So now whenever you sync capsule, you can also see that in the audits page. So earlier, what used to happen is we used to have this last sync date, which used to rely totally upon tasks. And some users have task cleanups in place, so which would clear out all their tasks like I have here. So there are no tasks for the smart proxy. In that case, this last sync would say never synced because it wouldn't find the task. Now the capsule can fall back upon audit records if there are no tasks found. So in case you clean up both tasks and audits, then it will go back to saying never synced, because then we would like literally have no idea when it was synced. But otherwise, we can fall back upon audits if tasks have been cleaned up. And yeah, that was all the update I had.
Thanks a lot, Samir. I'm just checking the YouTube live stream and monitoring the Hex chat to see if you have any questions with this topic. Okay, so there are no questions. Okay, so the next one is from Chris, and he's going to talk about changes with respect to Candlepin. So, over to you, Chris.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let me know if you can see it okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So there was a big Candlepin change. The version was 4.2 that came in, and it was a group effort. I know Lucy, myself, Jeremy contributed. And so basically what happens is all new, if you have a fresh install of Catello, everything is simple content access mode. So all the organizations are created by that. And so right here I have an actual empty Catello box. You can see there's no subscriptions. The only host is the machine itself. And we can see that this is in simple content access mode by default here. You can also see it visible by the subscription page being gone. So what I want to show you is it doesn't, the first thing is if we do manage manifest, Candlepin or decoupled refreshing the manifest or toggling simple content access away from a manifest. So it's no longer in there. So we remove that as part of that workflow. The other thing is that the Candlepin 4.2 doesn't honor what the customer portal says for simple content access. So what I mean by that is I have a manifest here to show you for proof. Simple content access is disabled. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to import that, and you'll see that it still says, oh, come on, go away. Whoops, oh, crap, wrong one. Sorry. So while I was doing that, let me show you, because I've imported the wrong one. Now you can still toggle simple content access on and off if we go to organizations. And what that does is it toggles it on the local Candlepin instance itself. So when you would do simple content access before, toggling on and off, it would actually go out to the customer portal. It would toggle this guy on, but it doesn't do that anymore because it's specifically isolated to the Candlepin running locally. So when you make a new organization, we actually added the ability to toggle simple content access on or off right then and there. So we can just do this test. We'll do submit. And you can still edit it here and there. And if I just do submit, you'll see that it's that one is off. So let me go ahead and switch back to this one. And we'll go to, let me refresh this page. We'll use the new organization I made. And I'm going to go ahead and import a manifest again. We're going to do the right one this time. Now, typically before, it would honor what the customer portal is. So even though simple content access is disabled on the customer portal, before it would honor what that is and change it. But as you can see now, I've imported that manifest. It is disabled. And if I refresh this page, hopefully it doesn't log me out. But while we're looking at that, you can see that simple content access is still enabled. And if I go back, probably going to take just a moment. As you can see here, it's still disabled. Now managing your subscriptions and all that still works the same. You can refresh a manifest and everything like that. So all that workflow is the same. But basically now, if you were to go to the organization and toggle this, we'll just turn him off. Instead of going out to the customer portal now, it just reaches out to the local Candlepin instance. As you can see, that's a lot quicker. Before then, it would actually go out to the customer portal. It would check that. It would refresh everything. So it's a lot quicker now as well. So that's pretty much what I had to show. So and that is in 4.6 right now as well. So if anybody tries it and has issues, definitely report them. I'll stop sharing.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Are there any questions from the one who have joined the Google Meet? I don't see any questions on the YouTube live stream. I'm waiting for a minute.
Oh, sorry, it was me. Hi, sorry, I have no questions. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so moving to the next one, and it is from Ian, and he's going to talk about distribution of archived content view versions. So over to you, Ian.
Thanks. Let me just get my screen shared. All right, and here we go. Okay, so I'm just sharing a small new feature, or I guess it was kind of a fix to a regression. But this was added by Kieran from ATIX. Essentially, there was an issue after we moved to Pulp 3 that some people noticed where if you had a content view version and you had a version that wasn't associated with any lifecycle environment, back on Pulp 2, you would see a version like this, where you have a number like 2.0, 3.0, and those are what we call the archived content view versions. They're not really useful for any clients, but they are useful for debugging if you need to go back and see what RPMs were in an older version. And after we switched to Pulp 3, that just kind of got dropped off. So now it's been reintroduced, and since folks have probably gotten used to not having them anymore, we decided to introduce it as a setting, just in case they want to turn it off. And it's defaulted to the old Pulp 2 behavior. And if you want to turn this on or turn it off, it's called Distribute Archived Content View Versions. If you turn it off, it won't delete the old ones. The old ones will still stick around, but it'll stop creating new ones. And so just to kind of show more how this looks, I have a content view here, which is called a view. And I have a couple of versions here. Version 2.0 is the only one that I published with this new feature enabled. So you can see over here, you have the a view 2.0. But you also, of course, still have the normal ones that are actually published in your life cycle environments, like library, for example. And so, yeah, that's the short of it.
Thanks a lot, Ian, for nice demo. I don't see any questions on YouTube live stream. Is there any question from the Google Meet? Okay, so as we don't have any questions, I proceed further with the next one, and it's from Maria. She's going to talk about host details OS card, and that's having clickable labels now. So over to you, Maria.
Yeah, hi. They're actually a bit related because the clickable labels are also OS details. Just find, yeah. Can you see my screen?
I don't, but I think, yeah, I can see it now.
Great. So in the details tab, we have this new small card for operating system with the details. Like in the old host page, clicking on these links, those links will lead to a search that for host that has the same architecture or the same operating system. So yeah, and going back to this screen, these two labels are now clickable, and also the same will lead to a search in a new tab for hosts that have the same operating system or the same architecture for this button here. And yeah, that's the update.
Thanks a lot, Maria. Okay, so I'm waiting for the questions on YouTube live stream for a minute. Okay, so we don't have any questions. So if you have any questions with respect to any of these demos, then you can contact us on Discourse, and you can also reach out to IRC channel, which is hash the Foreman, and we will help. We will try our best to answer your questions. So that's it from the user focus demo. That's what we had, and now I'm moving towards the developer focus demo, and both of these demos are from Nofar, and she's going to talk about host group drop down actions to an helper, and the next one is about Ansible actions to extendable host group drop down. So as she's having both of the demos, the next one I'm moving to her, and over to you, Nofar.
Yes, hi, Amit, thank you. And hi again, everyone. So the next two topics are related to each other. So to make things clear, I will start by explaining the problem and then talk about the solution. So the problem we had was that the Ansible plugin overrode the actions menu on the host groups page. So here, this is the actions menu. And so if we change something on the original actions array on Foreman, we wouldn't have seen it if we were using the Ansible plugin. So for example, in the previous state, if I add an edit action to the dropdown, the Ansible plugin would override it, and we wouldn't have seen it here in the dropdown. So to solve this, we had to move the host groups dropdown actions to an extendable helper, which allows us to add actions from the Foreman plugin to the host groups dropdown without overriding the existing actions. So doing this was quite complex, so I won't get into details, but if you see, you can see the changes in the PR and reach out to me anytime. So now I would like to demonstrate. I would like to demonstrate the solution on the Foreman Ansible plugin. However, the solution applies to all Foreman plugins, so it can be used in other plugins as well. So here we create the Ansible host groups helper inside the helpers directory. We create a method that accepts a host group as an argument and returns an Ansible action we want to add to the host groups dropdown. Here we added just one Ansible action, but you can add multiple actions as well. Another thing you must add for this to work is in the register file located in the lib Foreman Ansible directory, but it might be someplace else in a different plugin. So here you need to add this describe host group block and specify the name of the method from the Ansible host groups helper for the host group action provider. Okay, so this method here is the exact, the same name from the host groups helper here. So also, I would like to show you that there is an explanation in the developers docs here. here extending the Hostgroup UI. So if you want to use this code and implement it in other plugins, you can use this explanation right here. And that's it. Thank you again for listening, and please feel free to ask any questions.
Thanks a lot, Nofar. I'm just waiting for the questions. Okay, so we don't have any questions for any of the demos as such. So I think that's it for today. Thanks a lot for joining us live, and yeah, see you on next demo. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.